Of course, you ignored the old warning about not acting with children and animals. You did it both in one go. You've been working with baby gorillas.
That's true.
Are they cute and lovable?
They are. They're very, very strong, very athletic. And they once they get used to you, they're very, very emphatic with their affection. They pull your hair and bite you, test you. But they're really fun. They sort of use me as a trampoline.
What about their mums, though? Were they quite easy about it?
Well, actually not in the beginning. By the time I left, I always got the feeling that when I came over the hill, the mothers would see me and just sort of go, well, great, the babysitter is here again for the afternoon. I once had a... sometimes the babies would hold on to you. Really, you're not supposed to initiate anything with the gorillas, but the babies would sort of attach themselves to you, and sometimes the mothers would come up. You'd suddenly feel this like that. He's too far away. And you sort of try to show them that, you know, it was the baby's idea, but the mothers are very protective, understandably.
Did it make you feel broody?
Well, yes, actually, it did. You know, it's amazing how much fun they were, especially when there were like 4 of them. I sort of like to have one human child and then one gorilla child, one of each, I think would be good.
I'm trying to think who can help you with that one.
I know a few.
Yeah. Jimmy Greaves.
Jimmy Greaves. Because the gorillas in the film were not all they seemed to be, by which I mean they weren't all gorillas.
No. Whenever the movie involved scenes where the gorillas were harmed or attacked, and sometimes when there was a baby gorilla in my actual camp, we didn't obviously want to use real mountain gorillas, not that we could have, because they are wild. So we had, occasionally there'll be an inset of a gorilla hand or head or something like that. They obviously wouldn't do things over and over again, so we could catch them on different takes.
Weren't the chimpanzees disguised as well?
There were 2 little chimpanzees named Bongo and Lucky who played the puckerpuss, the little gorilla that I save and I have to feed, and they were quite, actually, their human mother might be watching, but they were actually quite difficult. They'd wait until everything was set, and they'd have these little suits on, little furry suits, and black makeup all over their faces. And then they'd just wait until Michael Apted said action, and then they'd look around and go like that and pull their little hats off.
Yes. Did you do a kind of Dr. Dolittle, learn their language?
Well, I had to learn a few things, really, to reassure them. Friendly sounds. There's one thing they all do when they're content and eating, and it sort of is... I have to lower my voice a little. It sounds better with men, but it's... and it means sort of, hello, I'm over here. And then if I was, not that I ever had to do this, but if I were afraid and wanted to, you know, to send out that kind of signal, which is, you know, watch out, I'd say, That's what the mothers would say to me when they, that's what they, that was the vocal instruction, leave my baby alone.
Did that work? I mean, did that kind of thing always work? They related to it?
Well, I think they obviously knew I wasn't a gorilla. They probably thought it was a pretty pathetic attempt, but the trackers, everyone did it. It was just a way of saying, I'm over here. If you don't let the gorillas know where you are, that's, some of them aren't that keen on people, so that they could actually be quite alarmed. And if one gorilla gets alarmed, then the silverback, who's the dominant male, he might decide to exhibit some show of power.
It's always the dominant male, isn't it, doing that sort of thing?
But they react to that.
Well.
Yes.
Let us react to that kind of sound.
Yes, they kind of look up. They're really not very used.
Now, he was a big one. What did he weigh?
He's the biggest silverback they've seen on the mountain. He weighs over 450 pounds, and that was my second day.
What's that, 30 stone or something like that? I can't work that out, but it's a lot of...
It's big. It's like a refrigerator, moving fast. So.
Were you terrified?
I was a little terrified then because, of course, I just started, and I thought maybe I offended him in some way. And actually, the next day, he decided, he looked at me for a long time like this, and the camera was behind him, so they couldn't really see what he was doing. And then he got up, he beat his chest, ran up the hill, and knocked me over, which is quite a big thump. And I was very frightened then, because I couldn't find the guy who was with us as a guerrilla sort of liaison. He disappeared. And to my amazement, when I saw the rushes, I was knocked over, and I sat up and started taking notes. I mean, I was terrified, so I guess I was just trying to stay in
You were
character.
doing your will, weren't you? Writing your will.
What about the conditions of work up there in the mountains? Were they rough?
Well, they were rough for a film. We lived in tents, and we lived in tents most of the time, and hiked several hours every day. Especially when we were going up to see the gorillas, they keep moving. So once after a party for Brian Brown, my co-star, where we'd all stayed up quite late, I think we hiked about 8 hours. So it was rigorous, but very beautiful. Rwanda is a wonderful country, and the Virungas are these, sort of misty mountains. And
So after all that trekking up and down for however long it took you, did you want then a complete change for your next assignment?
yes, I did actually, for very shallow reasons. I just wanted to stay at home and sleep in a nice bed and see my husband. So I took a small part in a Mike Nichols comedy where I play an evil person. But she wore very pretty clothes, which was a nice change after the...
This was on stage or
No,
film?
this was in a film. It'll be coming here, I think, this spring.
Yes, because you've probably done 2 or 3 since this one.
I'm doing Ghostbusters now, the second Ghostbusters. And
Ah, yes. Now, what about that? I mean, is it the same team?
exactly the same team. As we all said to each other, older and fatter, but are we better? We'll find out. And actually, it's funny because it's not unlike working with the gorillas. I say that in a compliment. You never quite know what they're going to say or do. So it's sort of an improvisation, which I like, even though I'm not particularly good at it. But I think it's fun.
And are they good to you on that show?
Actually, Bill is always saying, I'll ask a serious question about the scene, and he'll say something like, "Oh, you're trying to be Meryl Streep again, aren't you?"
No, your mother, talking of actresses, your mother is an English actress, isn't she?
Yes. She was at RADA with Vivian Leigh and was a member of the Liverpool Rep and was in some movies like 39 Steps. She plays the villain with the missing finger, his daughter. And she was only in it for a second, but she was very good, I thought.
And what's her name?
Her name is Elizabeth Inglis.
Right, let's look for that name on the credits. Now, mentioning your father, as I'm about to, I must sit to attention, because he was, what, president of NBC?
Yes.
And he launched the chat show format in America, or something similar, is that right?
Yes, he did. He started the Today Show and the Tonight Show, and he was always trying to broaden the appeal of television to an audience, to present, more shows for adult viewers.
So is he responsible for Johnny Carson being the star that he is now?
I mentioned that on the Tonight Show once. I think Johnny Carson has certainly made that his own show, but if it's the part of it that is the Tonight Show, my father is responsible for, because no one believed that anyone wanted to watch TV early in the morning and late at night.
So he's a powerful man in the industry, and obviously with influential friends. Did he give you a whole bag full of introductory letters to people in the industry?
Well, he did give me a list of names, and I started with the first one, who I sort of knew, called him and said, "Well, I'm just out of drama school, and I wonder if I could come in and meet some casting people or whatever." He said, "Do yourself a favor, kid, get a job at Bloomingdale's," which is like our Harrods. And I never called another friend of my father's. I couldn't take the discouragement.
You've always played strong characters. In Alien, I believe, the character was written originally for a man.
Yes, it was, and I think it was just a very commercial choice to sort of change it into a woman's role, sort of the twist that the hero turns out to be a woman.
Julian perked up at that.
I love that film. I watched them last night
Oh, really?
on the video. You don't have any costume changes, though, do you? Just that one khaki
taking it
thing.
off.
It's all sweaty.
Yes.
And you're so brave in that film.
Maybe in the next one I'll wear something like this.
Well,
More
I should have it written into your contract.
The new Ripley.
Going to do any more of those?
Well, I read in the paper the other day that they were doing another one, but that I wasn't going to be in it.
Oh,
so.
it's an outrage.
There are two scenes, particularly apart from, well, it does involve costume, indeed. The two scenes that stick in the mind are, of course, John Hurt's stomach bursting open and your T-shirt and knickers at the end.
Thank you.
Certainly sticks in the mind. But yes, I also read, you read what you read about yourself. I read that they wanted actually, or there was a possibility of you being entirely nude for that scene.
Well, there was actually, and at that point, because I knew so little about the film industry, I thought it was an interesting idea to have these sort of soft pink. All of us were supposed to be naked at one point, against this very technological background.
Oh, Corporal Hicks as well.
Now, who was he?
Corporal Hicks.
Hicks.
He's the good-looking one.
Oh, in the second one.
This is
Aliens.
Aliens.
We never talked about that for the second one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused.
Right. But I remember coming down to the set, and it was that scene where Ian Holm has to take this porno magazine and attacks me with it, and Ridley Scott said, "We have this magazine, and we're going to put it up your hooter." And I said, "I don't think so." And he explained to me that that meant...
Your nose.
Right.
Does it mean something? It doesn't.
I didn't know what it meant, but
Oh.
I wouldn't put anything past Ridley, actually.
No. So you didn't do it.
Well, no, it was a scene, and he tried to strangle me with this magazine. It was sort of a strange death attempt, but he was a robot. Maybe he didn't know any better.
Would you have minded doing the scene naked? Does it bother you at all?
At the time, I was so idealistic, I didn't think anything of it. Now I'm quite glad that we didn't do it, because I think that kind of thing... I get sent a picture of me in the little knickers quite often with, you know, letters, "Please sign this, I want to put this on my wall." And
Oh, they've arrived, good.
I must say I don't usually send it back.
Do your leading men resent your height? Because not all stars are tall, are they?
No, I've been pretty lucky. Most of them are tall. I worked with Mel Gibson, who's a little shorter than I am, but he's very sort of open-minded, and he loved it when I wore high heels. And...
Julian and Robert would do that.
Listening.
Tall lads here. I do envy you.
How
that.
tall are you?
I'm about, well,
In
tonight
stocking?
I'm about 6 feet, but usually I'm about 5'10".
That's in your bare feet, stocking feet, you're 5'10".
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I was getting
Just
excited.
tall. Like tall.
Sigourney, now, you were Chris and Susan, weren't you?
Yes.
Where did Sigourney come from?
Well, I was at a girls' school, and we all called each other by our last names. And I was called Susan, which I thought I was too tall for the name Susan. Which actually, I was named after a wonderful English friend of my mother's, who I hadn't met at that point. But anyway, I thought, well, I'm just going to change my name. And so I just took this name out of a book by F. Scott Fitzgerald. It was long, and I thought I was already this tall when I was about 12. So I don't know how or why I did. I just kept it, you know.
Serendipity would have been quite good as well.
Serendipity Weaver. That would be interesting.
Julian, are you a Julian?
Yes, that's my real name, Julian, yes.
And you, Robert, have done a programme, haven't you, called What's in a Name? You must have come across some crackers there.
On names, there were lots of peculiar ones too, but I was actually very reassured to find that Robert is a... Because names... There was a woman on the programme who could actually identify. She said people's ages, social class, where you come from, where you live, and advertisers are now doing this by name. So a Dorothy or an Ethel or an Agnes is a certain type, lives in a certain place, certain age. Wendy, a Sharon, a Gary, a Julian. Julian's middle class, isn't it?
I should think
Bit
so.
of a Sue.
But show business...
Julian's middle, kind of a yuppie, isn't it, Julian?
Well, not when I was born.
Portable
They
phone?
didn't have yuppies then.
Whereas
Roman name.
Robert's classless.
Comes from
Julian is a
Julius,
Roman.
yes.
The show business loving the diminutive, do they call you Siggy?
Yes, I like the name Siggy. Makes me feel like a ski instructor.
To me, you'll always be Sigourney Weaver. And thank you very much for being with us tonight.